welcome to episode 511 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you are super stoked for Brothers War coming up.
Let's go.
Or you're super excited for Brothers War coming up.
Let's go.
We are here for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Meghan.
And on today's episode, we are getting you ready for the Brothers War pre-release coming up this weekend at your LGS.
That's right. It is another classic Good Luck High Five Judge Rob episode. We're going to have our good friend Judge Rob here to tell us all about how the mechanics of this set work.
Yep.
And also specific cards that might be tricky or have weird interactions so that you can go into your pre-release ready to play and with no uncertainties.
Feeling cool, calm, confident, and another word that starts with C. Collected when you head to your local game store. And by the way, if you want to play this set as a pre-release, you're going to have to do it at your local game store because it doesn't release on Arena until next Tuesday. So a week from today, the 15th.
It is once again ye old classic pre-release where it's happening at your LGS
pre-release.
First.
Yes.
Which is super, super exciting. So hopefully you'll be out there playing. Maybe we'll catch you out there playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're so excited.
And by the way, for the Brothers War and for the next couple of sets, you can draft at your pre-release too.
Gasp.
So that's a new thing that they're trying out.
That's right. You can just straight up regular get Brothers War product.
Yes, you can just get it and you can draft
just
it.
Get it.
I mean, that's going to be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm super excited for this weekend. Love playing me some paper.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing people play at Magic 30, I was like, I need it injected into my veins. It's so wonderful. And everyone loves when Judge Rob comes on and tells us what's what.
Before we get started, we of course have some people to thank for making this Judge Rob episode possible. And first and foremost amongst them are you, the listeners, and especially the patrons of this show. And hey, the patrons who get this episode, the Judge Rob episode, are Daniela, Nikki, and Matt.
Yay!
Daniela, Nikki, and Matt, this one is for you. I mean, this episode specifically is for you specifically. Thank you so much for becoming patrons in the past week. If you want next week's episode to be your episode, you can become a patron too. And there is an extra special bonus coming up.
Yes, we have an incentive.
In December, if you become a new patron at $10 or more, or you up your current Patreon pledge by $5 or more, you will get a limited edition, 98 of them only, Good Luck High Five Boggle Cruise playmat with art by our good friend Chris Rodriguez. It is a stunning, awesome playmat. If you unroll this, like, at your LGS, people are going to say something about it because it looks amazing. And starting on November 28th, so November 28th, 29th, and 30th, those are like our pre-open days for people who are already patrons. So if you increase your pledge on November 20th, 29th, or 30th, you will also get one of these. So it's worth it to become a patron right now because then you can up your pledge at the end of the month. Make sure that you get in on this sweet, sweet playmat.
You could say the 28th, 29th, and 30th is the pre-release of this playmat deal.
Wow, the true pre-release.
Yeah, so become a $10 a month patron in December. Increase your pledge by $5 in December. Become a yearly patron in December. You get access to this beautiful, beautiful playmat,
gorgeous,
which you could even frame and hang over your bed, and nobody would say boo about it.
Nobody would say boo about it.
Someone's gonna be like, I hung this over my bed, and my partner is like, excuse me, what is that weird frog-like creature and boat doing in our bedroom? And we will personally reply to that person and say,
it's great. What are you talking about? Calm down.
This is fine art, people.
This is art. Thank you as well to our sponsor, Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/GLHF Magic, the place to go for just everything, period.
It's cardkingdom.com/GLHF, but
whoops.
Almost.
cardkingdom.com/GLHF, your place to go for everything.
Everything.
Period.
Yeah,
Question mark?
You can get so much stuff at Card Kingdom.
Exclamation point.
You can pre-order your Brothers War stuff right there, right now.
Yes, you can.
You can get a box to draft with your friends over Thanksgiving, over the winter holidays. You can get some Unfinity, which would be super fun to play with your buds, I think.
And if you go to cardkingdom.com/GLHF and you put GLHF in your comments of your order, maybe you'll get a sticker or token, man.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're a pretty cool place. We like them a lot. And they sell everything you need for your magical life. You want to bling out your commander deck? Card Kingdom's got your back.
Oh, yeah.
All right, everybody, we've got Judge Rob in the building to go over Brothers War, new mechanics, returning mechanics, tricky cards for your pre-release this weekend. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. I'm very excited to be here again after such a short time.
I know.
We're talking about how quick set releases are.
You were just here.
After one hot second.
Yeah. Like, my beard has barely grown, but it has grown.
It has grown.
If you're not watching the video version of this, you simply must, if not for only Judge Rob's magnificent beard.
I don't have a plan and exit strategy. I'm just growing it out. And Ruth has started to say, like, if it gets a little longer, I can braid it. I'm like, all right, if that's what you want.
Yes, that's pretty cool. You can like the Viking look?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. I'm into it.
Oh man, especially if you do multiples.
Yeah,
I
multiples.
feel like you have to do multiples.
Yeah, she's probably gonna like braid it with little stones it or something.
Gosh, yes, Ruth, yes.
Sick.
Endorsed by Good Luck High Five. Well, we're so happy to have you here, Rob, to talk about Brothers War. Pre-release coming up this weekend, everybody, and we want you to be ready. So you normally start off our Judge Rob episodes with the PSA. What do you got this time?
Yeah, my PSA is fun should be opt-in, is what I have written here. It was just at CubeCon, which was a blast. And one of the most fun things that people did is they drafted they called it the unreasonable cube. And it was draft matters cards. It was uncards.
Most cubes unreasonable.
No.
Okay.
There were a lot. There were like there was a cube called the normal cube, which was just like a set. There was one that was after my own heart, which was what was it called? It was very good. John made it. It was
So this
Petty
is just,
Nobility.
So just a bunch of cool cubes.
It was 24 cubes. It was a blast. But one of the things they did is you could say no to particular cubes when you signed up, and so you wouldn't get assigned to draft that cube. And so the 8 players who were playing the unreasonable cube were people that really wanted to draft
to be unreasonable.
Great.
Right. And so I had 6 different people from that draft come up to me and go, "This draft was a blast. This was so fun. This is some of the most fun I've had playing limited in forever." And meanwhile, the cube next to them, the devoid cube that doesn't have colored cards in it, and the only lands you can add are wastes, and they were opting into different play experiences, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the Commander, people talk about Rule 0. You talk about this in D&D as well, where you sit down and you say, what are the terms of us having fun? But you can view it more as figuring out whether or not you want to opt into playing the thing that has the Grand Calculatron in it, or whether or not you want to opt into the thing where you have to very seriously consider whether or not you should take this basic mountain as a draft pick, right?
Yeah. Whoa.
There were multiple cubes that did not add lands, that you just drafted the lands, which was it's very when people hear that, it's nerve wracking. They're like, I don't just get to add lands.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But this is very fun for different people in different ways. Mm-hmm. And so if you are trying to present fun to people, let them opt in and let them get excited about the thing that you opt in fun with. Mm-hmm. If you're playing Commander with silly cards, if you are playing a board game where you have to physically knock meeples off a thing like Terror in Maple City, these are fun if you get to opt into it. Forcing people to have fun your way will be less fun for them than letting everybody have fun their way and opting into the same shared fun.
Well said, Rob. Yeah. Well said.
What if I build a cube that's just Cons of Tarkir draft?
I mean, yes.
For sure.
Top 5 draft formats of all time.
My block is called Cons of Tarkir. We're drafting Cons of Tarkir.
I would play it because I love Cons of Tarkir.
Oh, it's great.
Can I ask what was in the unreasonable cube? What's unreasonable about it?
Unreasonable was a lot of different uncards and a lot of different draft matters cards for conspiracy.
Okay.
There were no dexterity cards. There was nothing like ass whooping that destroys permanents in other games. It was cards that work, right? It was stuff from Unstable. It was
that's cool.
It was designed to be like a silly draft format. The Grand Calculatron, the rules don't really support what it does, where you program your hand and stuff very well.
Yeah.
But it works. It doesn't require you to stand up and throw cards from a distance, which is very, very fun if you opt into it.
For sure.
But it doesn't work very well in a tournament setting.
Yeah.
And so those were all opted out of it. Again, opting into the fun to make something that allowed everybody to have fun.
Yeah.
And so that cube just had a lot of really cool stuff in it. Gwen did a really good job on that cube.
Amazing.
Sounds like a great
Very
time.
cool.
CubeCon. Well, let's turn our attention now, if we will, to the Brothers War. And we're going to kick things off with returning mechanics. The first of which is Meld, one of my all-time faves.
So Meld is, the thing with Meld in Limited before was that you actually did it in Limited,
yes.
right? You aren't going to do Meld in Limited.
Yeah, this seems very hard to accomplish in Limited.
These are pitched for Constructed now. So Meld is, I'm just going to go through I'm going to have to talk about 2 cards and then a third card.
Okay.
Mishra, claimed by Gix, is red-black 2 for a 3/5 legendary creature Phyrexian Human Artificer, which is a very tiny type of line. Very short, very small font.
Very small.
Whenever you attack, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of attacking creatures. If Mishra, claimed by Gix, and a creature named Phyrexian Dragon Engine are attacking, and you both own and control them, exile them, then meld them into Mishra Lost to Phyrexia. It enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. We'll talk about these other 2 cards now. Phyrexian Dragon Engine, which is a 3-mana artifact creature Phyrexian Dragon, 3/3. It has double strike. And
it's a 2/2, sorry.
Sorry, it's a 2/2. I'd scrolled off it. Yep. Double strike. When it enters the battlefield from your graveyard, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. And it has Unearth of red 3. It has no reminder text on Unearth because it doesn't have room for it. We'll talk about Unearth in a little bit. It's a returning mechanic. And then the third thing, which is the back of both of them.
Meld.
Yes. If you've never seen Meld before, Meld is like double-faced cards, but instead of like double-faced cards where you have cards and then you flip them over, instead with Meld, you flip them over and turn them into one giant card that has like a half of a card and another half of a card.
It's sick.
I love it.
It's super cool. It makes these giant cards that get to just dominate the battlefield. Mishra Lost to Phyrexia is what these meld into, which is it has no mana cost. It's a legendary artifact creature, Phyrexian Artificer. It's a 9/9. Whenever Mishra Lost to Phyrexia enters the battlefield or attacks, choose 3. Target opponent discards 2 cards. Mishra deals 3 damage to any target.
Right.
Destroy target artifact or planeswalker. Creatures you control gain menace and trample until end of turn. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 until end of turn. Or create 2 tapped Power Stone tokens.
Wow. Choose 3.
Yeah, choose 3. So the thing is, though, that like the way Meld works is if you're instructed to meld some things, you check. Do you own these things? As in, did they start the game in your deck? Mm-hmm. Do you control these things? Do you have them under your control right now? And are they non-tokens? And are they the actual physical cards that they represent? So if I clone Phyrexian Dragon Engine and attack with the clone, I would own the clone, control the clone. It's not a token, but I couldn't meld it because it doesn't have the back.
Can't wait till I can own and control a clone.
Well, you can. And the sculpting steel's in the set.
Messed up, Maria.
I meant like a sheep.
Okay.
Cloning people is still illegal. So anytime that you meld something, you exile the components and you bring them back as one big mega permanent. Anytime that you do something with that mega permanent that makes it leave the battlefield, it breaks apart into its component objects. So if you flicker it, if you exile then return to the battlefield, it'll break apart and then come back as the 2 objects separately. If it dies, they both go to the graveyard as a single object and then break apart in the graveyard into the 2 front faces.
Much like many things in graveyards.
Most things in the graveyard.
Yeah. So you had to pay some extraordinary amount of mana for this, right? You had to play a 4-mana spell and a 3-mana spell and be able to attack with one of them, right? Which doesn't natively have haste. So, and Mishra is the easy one to do out of the 3 meld cards in the set, I would say.
They both have to be attacking.
They both have to be attacking?
Yeah.
Yeah, they both have to be attacking, which is, for Phyrexian Dragon Engine, because it unearths, is not that hard.
Sure. I mean, it could happen. I think, and somebody's going to share us, a picture of this happening at the pre-release.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool.
So the pre-release, it's a little. And the reason why I say this is for constructed is Mishra's a mythic. Phyrexian Dragon Engines are rare, so you'd have to open both of them in your pool.
But if you do, you are obligated to play those colors and play them in your deck.
Well, they're also quite good cards. Yeah. Like a Phyrexian Dragon Engine's own is just quite fine. Yeah. 2/2 double striker for 3 that like sometimes randomly draws you a pile of cards is great. I'll take it.
I love Meld. I think it was so cool. When was the last time we saw it, Rob?
That was in Eldritch
Moon.
Moon.
Eldritch Moon.
Yep. And when they took the two, Umbercool took the three angels and jammed them together into the same body. And, you know.
It was sick.
It was horrifying and great. And I did have it at my pre-release.
That's right.
Well, because of the rats. A Handwear Township wasn't that hard to do, and the rats just happened all the time.
Mine was the Gisela and Brunella, whatever.
You did Brisella, Voice
Gisela.
of Nightmares?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Pre-release.
Into Brisella.
That is an unbeatable card.
I did not lose that pre-release ever. It's my best pre-release in my whole life, and I will never beat
surprised.
it. I had 2 of one of them. I think I had 2 Gisellas. Anyway, so that happened.
Gisela so that you could reanimate Bruno was the bigger one, right?
Yeah, Bruno was the big one.
Gisela was also the one you wanted to cast that was like a 4/3 flying first strike lifelink or something.
It was great.
For 4 mana.
It's a busted card by itself.
You don't need the other half of this card.
I apologized when I played my deck versus my opponents at pre-release. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, Unearth. Unearth is a mechanic from a long time ago, from Conflux or something. It is. Let's talk about Mishra's research desk here. 1 mana artifact, 1 tap and sacrifice it. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose one of them until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. Unearth for red and 1. And it says red and 1, : It's an activated ability. Return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step, or if it would leave the battlefield. Unearth only as a sorcery. So, Unearth is an activated ability that activates from the graveyard on any permanent card, basically. We've got it originally on creatures. It was only ever on creatures. And then it was, then now it's on non-creatures. It's on artifacts in this set.
Cool.
And it returns it to the battlefield, grants it haste until end of turn. And then the reminder text is kind of a lie. It says exile it at the beginning of the next end step, or if it would leave the battlefield. That means exile it if it would go anywhere else but exile. So if it's already being exiled, Unearth won't care about it. So there's a card in the set that exiles an Unearth card, then returns it to your hand from exile, because Unearth is yeah, you went to exile. I don't care about that. If you have a flicker card, there's Touch the Spirit Realm in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty that flickers an artifact or creature. If you flicker an Unearth thing, it's going to come back and it'll have forgotten about Unearth.
Yeah.
So
it's I was exiled. I forgot I was ever in the graveyard.
Your memory gets erased.
Yep.
In exile.
Well, just anytime that you move zones.
Oh, okay.
Your memory is erased.
Fun Unearth fact, introduced in Shards of Alara.
Shards of Alara. Conflux is the second set.
The Grixis signature mechanic.
I was I'm thinking that there's an Unearth zombie that I loved from Conflux. And so that's what's just stuck in my head.
Cool to see it on a card like Mishra's research desk.
Yeah, this is very neat. This is draw very draw a card and then draw another card.
Right.
But you're out of a very limited set of cards, which is very, very cool. Stun counters return on 1 card. I'm probably going to stop mentioning them after this, but this is only the second set they've been in. And so people are not going to know what they do. Involuntary cooldown is blue and 3 for a sorcery. Tap up to 2 artifacts and or creatures. Put 2 stun counters on each of them. And then it reminds you if a permanent with a stun counter would become untapped, remove 1 from it instead. Stun counters are in the vein of shield counters. They're a counter that does a thing. They say if this would become untapped for any reason, don't untap it. Instead, take a stun counter off of it.
Right.
As long as they're on something. They're just, we should have had them since Ice Age, honestly.
Yeah.
They make sense.
Now it's a thing.
I like them.
Yep. They're the win counters from Prerelease's wins, which is a card that nobody knows about. Surveil is back. I'm very happy about this.
Welcome back, Surveil. We love you.
Yes.
So Curate is blue and 1 instant. Surveil 2. So Surveil tells you look at the top X cards of your library where its number is, then put any number of them into your graveyard, and take the rest and put them on the top of your library in any order. Then Curate also has you draw a card after that. And I'm calling this out, and I probably never will again because they're making Surveil evergreen. It's going to be in every set. I love this. I'm very happy that it's back. I have mixed feelings about cards being eroded functionally because they changed the text on a bunch of cards Consider now Surveil 1, draw a card. That's functional because there's things that care about whether or not you surveilled.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're Underworld connections. When you surveil, return it to your hand.
Yeah.
You and I have both played this deck multiple times, right?
Oh, yes.
So, Disinformation campaign?
Okay.
Campaign. A little bit. And so, I'm not a fan of functional errata on cards, but it's a keyword action now that's just going to be in every set, so it's going to be great. So, new mechanics then are my next thing. Prototype, the cool newest one.
Wow, yeah, prototype is a heck of a mechanic.
I'm very happy about this mechanic. Also, I'm a little weirded out by it because this is just double-faced cards. But we'll talk about that.
I mean, everything's double-faced.
Isn't
cards.
everything
is
flashback?
kicker or double-faced cards. Yeah. Like almost every mechanic. So Spotter Thopter here is an 8 mana artifact creature Thopter. It is a 4/5. It has flying, and when it enters the battlefield, scry X, where X is its power.
Cool.
And it has Prototype, which is a little box in the middle. And it says Prototype. You may cast this spell with different mana cost, color, and size. It keeps its abilities and types. It has a little mana cost there, blue and 3, and 2/3. So you can choose, as you're casting Spotter Thopter, to either play it as its face card, 8 mana for a 4/5, or you can pay blue and 3, and you get a 2/3. It'll be blue on the stack and on the battlefield, and it will be a 2/3. Just as if it was printed with those characteristics.
As if the 4/5 never existed?
Yes.
There was never a 4/5 here at all.
This is a modal double-faced card.
Yes.
Think of it that way. When you cast something with Prototype, you are casting it on the back face. And the back face has the same text box, the same type line, but instead it takes that mana cost, shoves it up in the corner, and it takes the power toughness, shoves it down in the corner.
Beautiful.
And so it behaves just like that. On the battlefield, it has those characteristics, and it retains them. So this will be a 4 mana card on the battlefield. If it leaves the battlefield or the stack, then it stops being a prototype and just is the face. This is also, if you touch the Spirit Realm to flicker it, it'll come back as the not prototype version. So this is what people are excited about. People are thinking about, like, I can use Charming Prince.
Yes, you can.
Wow, Charming Prince just got a whole lot more charming.
Well, Charming Prince was already pretty good. So
Charming Prince was already charming. Had a lot of charm, but now he has more charm.
But now he has money.
He is.
This prince isn't only charming, now he's also rich.
Hey, that's pretty cool. I'm excited to maybe try that out.
The other thing to note is if you clone a thing that was prototyped, you do get the prototyped component.
Okay.
Also, if you are told to cast this spell, prototype is not an alternative cost. So if you're instructed to if you have Omniscience out and you may cast spells without paying their mana cost, you get to choose whether or not to prototype or not. It's actually it's really close to double face cards. You're picking a mode basically, just like if you were picking whether or not to deal damage to a creature or a player on a deal 3 damage to target creature or 3 damage to target player or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like you are choosing a mode for this spell, and then that persists through its time on the battlefield. And because you can pay alternative costs to pay for this, it makes it very interesting and different from a lot of different similar abilities.
Yeah. I will also say this is the sickest looking Thopter we've ever seen.
That Thopter.
Look at how impressive this Thopter is.
I wish that every Thopter looked this cool in this set. Like Vindicator, like Urza's Battle Thopter is pretty ugly.
Yeah. There's some Thopters in the past that have been unimpressive.
Ornithopter, get out of here.
But you know, this is an impressive Thopter.
Yeah, this is a cool looking Thopter. I'd ride around in this Thopter.
For sure. Power Stone tokens.
These are nominally returning, but I don't think anybody ever cast a Karn.
I cast one at the pre-release.
Did you make a Power Stone?
Sure did.
Wow.
You are in the 1%, Maria.
Finally, the one time I can say that in my life.
So Power Stone tokens, things will create them. So Stern Lesson here is blue and 2 for an instant. It says draw 2 cards, then discard a card, and then create a tapped Power Stone token. Power Stone tokens are a defined token type. They're artifacts with tap, add, colorless. This mana can't be spent to cast a non-artifact spell. So you can do anything you want with it, as long as you don't spend it on your non-artifacts. And we've talked about these before. I just want to make sure that this gets brought up because they are all over in this set. There's humongous amount of these cards.
Going to be a pile of Power Stones in the corner of your room.
Yep. And basically everything in this set creates tapped Power Stone tokens. But that's not a characteristic of Power Stones. They don't say enter the battlefield tapped. Oh. So if you copy that Power Stone, like you proliferate to make a copy of a token, or you use a Seeker's Chariot to copy it or something, the Power Stone that comes in isn't tapped. So this is
interesting.
Yeah, that's good to know.
It's relevant. You can use the new Power Stones right away, basically. They also have a mana value of 0. A lot of things in this set care about the mana value of stuff and the mana value of artifacts. And so there's a lot of like destroy target artifact with mana value 1 or less. Those will get power stones. They feel like a 3 mana artifact, like at least intuitively to me, but they aren't.
They feel like a food token.
Yeah. No. They don't feel like a food.
What do they feel like?
A Power Stone Shard from Original Dominaria.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Like
I mean, it's in the name.
Yeah. They feel like a mana rock. Like they've printed 100.
Like a classic 3-cost mana rock.
Yeah.
Tap for some colorless, man.
Yep. But they've got a drawback. So they might be a 2-mana rock, but I haven't internalized that 2-mana rocks exist, even though they've existed since like Mirage. So
let's talk now about individual cards that might be a little tricky for you.
So I want to call it Audacity. Big props to Audacity. It's printed text is wrong. Single green. It's an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0 and has trample. When Audacity is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw card.
Yeah, what's wrong here, Rob?
Well, there's an article missing in this sentence.
When Audacity is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw card.
Yeah, draw card.
Draw card.
Amazing.
Draw card.
Draw card.
Yep. This is a simple editing mistake. The Oracle text will have it.
Though.
I just wanted to call out poor Audacity.
Draw card.
It's the new Rancor. It's not as good as Rancor, but it tries very hard.
It does try.
And it's probably going to be remembered for being. It's a good card.
Yeah.
You're going to see it, and now you can't unsee that it's missing.
I think you're trying to say it's good card.
Yeah, it's good card. You got me.
Audacity gives good card. Oh my God, that's great.
You're not going to unsee it now. You're welcome.
Thank you. Or we're sorry.
Dwarven Forge Chanter. Red and 1 for a creature dwarf wizard. It's a 1/3. It has ward, pay 2 life. So if an opponent tries to target it, they have to pay 2 life or their thing is countered. And prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I'm just shouting out prowess. It's back. It triggers off every non-creature spell, triggers off your non-creature artifacts, notably. So if you're casting whatever random non-creature artifact, this will trigger Dwarven Forge Chanter. You might have been used to things triggering off instants and sorceries. This is better than that.
What if some Power Stones are coming into play?
Well, they aren't spells usually. Well, if you cast a spell that makes a Power Stone, so Stern Lesson would give you 1 trigger.
Exactly.
But the Power Stone token isn't a spell, so it's not going to give you any additional triggers.
This card seems good.
It's pretty good. They printed the best Powerless creature of all time again in this set.
Yes, they
Monastery
did.
Swift
Spear's back.
Yeah. Swift Spear's
back.
I have 3 cards here in this block because I just wanted to group them all together. Emergency Weld, Excavation Explosion, and Sibling Rivalry.
Okay.
Which, man, Sibling Rivalry is a great card name. Emergency Weld is black and 1 sorcery. Return target artifact or creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. Excavation Explosion is red and 2 for a sorcery. Excavation Explosion deals 3 damage to any target. Create a tapped Power Stone token. And Sibling Rivalry, gain control of target artifact or creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste until end of turn. Create a tapped Power Stone token. What these all have in common is they target a thing, do something, and make a token. But that thing might not be there when they go to resolve. There's a lot of like sacrifice your own stuff things going on in this set. Mm-hmm. And so if you Sibling Rivalry their creature and they sacrifice it in response to your spell, Sibling Rivalry fails to resolve because its only target's illegal. And so it won't make a Power Stone token.
Gotcha. Right. So for this kind of effect, it's like it has to at least have 1 target.
Yep.
That's legal. Otherwise, it's just not going to do anything.
Exactly. If it's a targeted spell, it won't do anything at all if its targets are gone as it tries to resolve.
Rip.
And so you may be surprised on Arena if your opponent like stops you from getting a 1/1 and blows you out.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, relevant. There's things that remove stuff from your own graveyard at instant speed in this set, which normally I wouldn't care about Emergency Will, but I was like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff that like eats your own graveyard in this set. So Argivian Avenger. It is a 6-cost artifact creature shapeshifter. It's a 5/5. 1 mana, until end of turn, Argivian Avenger gets -1/-1 and gains your choice of flying, vigilance, death touch, or haste.
Wow, annoying.
Yeah, this is Urza's Avenger if they wanted it to be limited playable now in the future. This is a callback to a card from Antiquities. And you may activate this more than once. So if you would like to give this vigilance and flying so that you can get in for 3 damage.
Come on. Where's First Strike Death Touch?
I know. There's cards that give First Strike in this set, but First Strike Death Touch would be real dumb on this card.
Yeah.
This is a curated list of like being able to do relevant things.
Some of the abilities, not all the abilities.
And Death Touch is also relevant because like you could give it vigilance attack with it and they'll be like, I have a 6/6. I don't want to block. You'd be like, great, take 4.
Yeah.
And then on your turn, you just have a 5/5 back home that you can give Death Touch to as well.
I've got a 5/5 back home.
Yep. Demolition Field. Demolition Field's a land. Taps for colorless. 2 tap and sacrifice it. Destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. That land's controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. You may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. This is Field of Ruin, right? Mm-hmm. This looks exactly like Field of Ruin, except in Commander and multiplayer, it's different. Field of Ruin says each player may search.
Wow, so you could not be involved in the interaction at all and just be like,
you just ride along in Field of Ruin sometimes in Commander.
So funny.
That's very funny.
In budget builds where you're like, I need a little bit of like land destruction of my lands, like you'd be playing Field of Ruin and then like I Field of Ruin your land and then you're like, sure,
nice.
I'll take an island.
Great work. Great work, team.
Demolition Field fixes that problem. But it gives you a second Field of Ruin if you want to play Field of Ruins. So there's now 8 Field of Ruins in Pioneer.
Wow. Okay.
That's a lot of Field of Ruin.
Look, I play Ponza. I care about destroying lanes.
Rob. Just rude. Classically rude. If you're one of those players, Cube April, who likes to destroy lands, this may be for you.
We love you. Wait. I love you. Levitating Statue. Levitating Statue is a 2-mana artifact. It has flying. It's not a creature. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. For 2 mana, it becomes a 1/1 construct artifact creature until end of turn.
I love it.
Yep. So this is unusual because you don't usually see flying on non-creature cards.
Yeah, that is weird.
Because it's designed to not have to like. It's more words to take that flying and put it down in the activated ability. Mm-hmm. And also, there's a lot of things that like will animate it in this set. And so you can animate it, make it a 4/4, and you want it to get flying. So you have to put flying on the card separately.
Yeah, so it's not part of the activation.
Yeah, so it's not part of the activation.
Great.
Because that way you don't have to
Yeah.
override its other power and toughness with the 1/1 in order to give it flying. Also, the +1/+1 counters will stick around happily on non-creature things. It'll have those forever, and then sometimes you'll animate Levitating Statue and just get them for like 6 or something.
Sick.
I like this. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I like this card.
Skyfisher Spider. Green-black 2 for a 3/3 creature spider. It has reach. When Skyfisher Spider enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target non-land permanent. When Skyfisher Spider dies, you may gain 1 life for each creature card in your graveyard. If you do, exile Skyfisher Spider from your graveyard. So the first ability, or the not reach first ability, is a triggered ability that when it dies, or when it enters, you may sacrifice something else, and then it makes another trigger if you do that. And then that trigger will target a non-land permanent. So you have to sacrifice a thing to get that trigger. It's a reflexive trigger. The second ability is going to give you life regardless of whether or not you exile the spider. It gives you life and then tries to exile the spider if you chose to gain life from it. So if it's not there, whatever, you still gain the life.
I'm sorry, everybody. I have a busy day. I have to go try to exile the spider.
No, thank you.
This might be one of your grossest cards anyways. So
it is pretty stinking gross.
Pretty gross.
It is pretty.
Spectrum Sentinel.
I love this Sentinels, whatever this is. Double blade.
This is a refugee. This is like a double halberd, right?
Yeah, with rainbows coming off of it.
Yeah, this is a refugee from Ravnica, right? Like, what is going on? This doesn't feel like a card from Antiquities, right?
I don't know.
It should be protection from colored if it wanted to just be Antiquities. Multicolored is like caring about multicoloredness feels really Ravnica.
That is true. Mm-hmm.
Spectrum Sentinel, 1 mana for a 1/2 artifact creature soldier, protection from multicolored. Whenever a non-basic land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain 1 life. So protection from multicolored, card color is determined by the mana cost of the card or the prototype cost, Or if it's the back face of something like a meld card, it'll have a color identity that is baked into the card. So Mishra is a black-red card. It's got the black-red frame. It's actually tied into the...
So you mean like the 9/9 is black-red?
Yes.
Yeah, the back face,
Right.
the melded Mishra,
The
gonna
melded
wreck you.
boy.
Yeah, choose 3. Yeah, that Mishra is multicolored. So Spectrum Sentinel, though, doesn't care about off-color activated abilities. So if you're like a red creature with a white activated ability, you are not a multicolored creature. It matters for commander building because that's your color identity, but that's not being multicolored within game rules.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What a weird card.
Yeah.
be in this set.
Yeah, it's very, like, I looked at it, I was like, why is this here? So, Drafna, founder of Latinam. Drafna is blue and 1 for a 2/1 legendary creature human artificer advisor. I don't know why he needs to be an advisor, but whatever.
Look at that way that he is looking
just
at that paper.
This is just like a classic like teacher dude.
Yeah, no, I'm
That
fine
is
with him being
an
a teacher.
advising stance.
Yes. And like that face that he's making is just like,
And let me advise. Artificer
like-
is what I have the problem with.
Yeah, he can't not. Drafna can't not be an artificer. Have you ever cast Drafna's Restoration?
No. I don't
Okay,
even know what
fair.
that card is.
It like returns artifacts from somewhere to somewhere else.
Okay.
So yeah, no, he's like, yeah, that whole thing's gonna have to come out. Why'd you even install that? Yeah, this is gonna be like $10,000.
You're getting a lot of exhaust.
Yeah.
I have to take this thing off. Let me
But
get under the hood.
Drafna's abilities are blue and 1, return target artifact you control to its owner's hand.
Oh, prototype, you put it back in, let it go.
Yep. And 3 tap, copy target
later.
artifact spell you control. It reminds you the copy becomes a token. So Drafna copies spells. He does not copy activated abilities and will not copy Unearth, which is an activated ability. And he won't copy making power stones, but he'll copy some spells that make power stones. So there's like an artifact creature that ETBs to make a power stone. He'll copy that, and then you'll get 2 of that and 2 power stones.
great.
Cool.
And so just be aware that you're not going to be able to cast blue spells and copy the power stones off with Drafna.
The flavor text says, alongside his wife, Hercule, Drafna
Yep.
built a legacy of scholarship that endured for millennia. So Hercule of Hercule's Recall,
Yes.
I assume.
Yep.
I just got to say, if my name was Hercule, I would change it.
Well, but hold on.
I gotta agree with you.
You
me.
speak Welsh.
Hercule. Look, the Welsh is beautiful, Rob.
Yeah. How do you know Hercule's name isn't beautiful in whatever language her name comes from?
Hercule.
Hercule.
Like, she's next on my list for
there
interesting
she is.
cards. Even
There she is.
Yeah.
Hercule.
Hercule Master Wizard.
Hercule. Oh, I named you after my sound I make when I purge.
Well, that's what people think about Welsh.
They're wrong, though.
I know they're wrong. I'm trying to broaden your horizons about whatever Hercule's name is. I'm not trying to put down
the
Welsh.
Dominarian
Yeah.
language. I would love to speak Dominarian. Put out a language guide. I would love to learn it. Thank you, wizards.
Yeah, make up a whole new fictional language just for
Yeah,
for Maria.
it'll be easy.
Yeah. Dude, barely even an inconvenience.
Hercule, Master Wizard.
Hercule Master Wizard. Blue 1. Hercule is a 2/4. She's a legendary creature, human wizard advisor. At the beginning of your end step, if you've cast a non-creature spell this turn, reveal the top 5 cards of your library. For each card type among non-creature spells you've cast this turn, you may put a card of that type from among the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is a word maze. It's very difficult to figure out
I
what
fell
Hercule
asleep
does.
halfway through, I'm not gonna lie to you.
So what Hercule does is you go to your end step and Hercule goes, did you cast a non-creature spell? Because I hate creatures. And you go, yeah, I cast an artifact this turn. And Hercule goes, great, I'm going to trigger. I'm going to reveal 5 cards. You cast an artifact. You may pick an artifact from them. You cast an artifact and a sorcery. You get to pick an artifact and a sorcery.
Cool.
If you cast something that is both an artifact and an enchantment, you'll get like one spell that's an artifact enchantment, like Bident of Thassa,
Sure.
or whatever of the legendary artifact enchantments from Theros. Hercule will say, you cast an artifact. There's an artifact and enchantment there. You can take both from the stack.
Ooh,
Nice.
The thing that I've seen people want to do with this is cast like tribal cards. So you get like 3 of those. You get like Bitter Blossom, you get Tarfire, and then the list is very bad from there. All the rest combined are probably 1 card. But Hurkle will let you get a tribal card and whatever the base type of it was. So Hurkle can draw you 2 cards a turn or 3 cards a turn. It is tricky and it's a puzzle to figure out how to do so. Hurkle will also see cards you cast before Hurkle.
Sorry, you just said Hurkle so many times.
We're saying Hurkle.
She started semantically satiated, and now we're way out there, right?
Yeah, we are. Oh boy.
So if you cast, say, Manamorphose, which is add 2 mana, draw a card, and then use that mana to cast Hurkle, Hurkle will say, did you cast any non-creatures this turn? I don't care if they happened before me. I'm smart enough to figure that out. And you'll say, yeah, I cast an instant. I cast Manamorphose. And then Hurkle will go, great. Here's 5 cards. Pick an instant. So
Nice.
She is one of the more complicated phrasings of at the beginning of your instant, maybe draw up to 3 cards that I've ever seen. But yeah. So there's a cycle of commands in this set, and I'm very excited about them. I'm going to go with Titania's command. Green 4, sorcery. Choose 2. Exile target player's graveyard. You gain 1 life for each card exiled this way. Or search your library for up to 2 land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Or create 2 2/2 green bear creature tokens.
Chosen.
Or put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control.
Nice.
So you'll pick 2 of these, and for any of these commands, Mishra was the same above, but he didn't really matter, but Titania's command does. You do them in the order printed. So if you choose 2 bears and put 2 counters, your bears come out, and then you put counters on them.
Okay.
So
Sick.
She makes 2 bears and then puts 2 counters on each of them. So like the minimum for this spell is make 8 power worth of creatures.
Seems good.
Yeah, I thought I was very excited by it.
Yep.
I looked at it, I was like, oh, also one thing to note, this does not search for basic lands. This searches for any lands. This is Primeval Titan as a sorcery.
Oh,
Nice.
All right.
So if you care about this and you want to, find
Valakut.
find 2 Valakuts, you can. This is an option.
But then remember, they're not going to trigger.
Well,
You have
unless
to
they
put
were
the
already
mountain into
mountains.
play. Yes,
Yeah.
unless your Valakuts are mountains, in which case, nice work.
Yeah.
You did it.
Mishra, Tamer of Makfawa. Mishra is red-black 3 for a 4/4 legendary creature human artificer. Permanents you control have ward. Sacrifice a permanent.
Oh,
Wow.
sick.
This is a really brutal ward cost.
Wow.
Each artifact card in your graveyard has unearth of red-black 1. So what this does is it lets you unearth any artifact from your graveyard, put it onto the battlefield with haste. It'll last until the end of the turn and then get exiled.
Mishra, you're great.
Mishra
Thumbs
is
up.
incredible. One thing to note with unearthing arbitrary cards is there's a lot of cards in this set with dies triggers. Cards that are unearthed do not die. They don't go to the graveyard. They go to exile if you would try to send them to the graveyard. So if you unearth something that has a when this dies, do a thing, it will get exiled at the end of turn, or if it trades in combat or whatever, and then not get the dies trigger.
Yeah, going to exile is not dying, everybody, okay?
And very specifically, unearth overrides any time it tries to go anywhere except exile with send it to exile. So it never gets to go to the graveyard. It replaces that with going to exile.
The stasis coffin.
The stasis coffin. Tawnos' coffin.
Most metal card name in the set.
Yes. 3 mana, legendary artifact. 2 tap and exile it. You gain protection from everything until your next turn.
What?
This is surprisingly less
you.
complicated than the card it references, Tawnos' coffin. Like this is just Tawnos' coffin printed with entirely different words.
Get in the coffin.
Get in the coffin. Yep.
Get in the coffin.
Get in, losers.
I mean, who's getting in the coffin? You or your opponent? That's my question.
You're getting in the coffin.
You're getting in the coffin, so
You're
you can
in
be
stasis.
Yeah, so you can be in stasis.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So what protection does, and we kind of glossed over this on the protection from multicolor. Protection does 4 things. You can't be damaged by sources that are the thing, which in this case is everything.
D.
You can't be enchanted or equipped. You can't have things attached to you that are of that.
E.
B is you can't be blocked by things. If you were somehow a creature, you couldn't be blocked by things that are anything. And T is targeted. You can't be targeted by anything.
That's the anagram debt, everybody.
Debt.
That's helped me remember about protection.
I remember protection via debt all the time. And so the thing is that anything that doesn't damage you or target you
from debt, you know what I mean?
Man.
I just made Rob, sorry, he just went sad.
Yeah, we refinanced our house last year so we could put in we could put in a new AC and furnace and that's expensive.
Stacy's coffin.
Please.
Put me in the coffin.
So if something doesn't damage you or target you or enchant or equip you, then Stasis Coffin really doesn't do anything about it. So most things do. This will stop creatures from damaging you. It won't stop them from being declared as attackers. So if they want to attack you, they can. It just won't do anything.
What if I want to attack and they can't block me then?
No. You gain protection. Your permanents don't.
Oh, okay.
Just you have protection. You're in the coffin.
I'm in the coffin. Okay, got it.
You're in the coffin, not your creatures.
Yeah, there's only room for one in this coffin, Maria.
You're in the coffin.
Makes sense.
So you could attack them and they'll be like, yeah, block, whatever. Your creature doesn't have protection from anything.
How much would it cost for you to be buried alive? How much?
No money. There's no money.
No. Are you asking me how much I would be paid to be buried alive?
Yes, but I'm going to put a time on it. You have to be buried alive for 24 hours. Okay. How much money?
No. Is this one of those I have a scuba respirator on and a catheter?
Yes, you have some kind of poop situation. It's solved. You have oxygen. And they've left you a bag of Doritos.
I'm in a coffin.
A bag of Doritos.
I'm definitely not taking the bag of Doritos into the coffin, by the way.
That's optional.
That's optional. No, thank you to the bag of Doritos.
Be like, I'm good. I could live without Doritos for 24 hours.
Well, also, that makes one of us.
Also, I don't even like Doritos. So
You're telling me, Megan, you would not be buried for 24 hours with a bag of Doritos and a catheter for $1 million.
No, that's not enough money.
I cannot believe it.
10 million? I'll start thinking about it.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that anything less than 10 million, and maybe not even 10 million, it might be closer to 100. It might be closer to $100 million.
God, I would do it for $500.
If you were given the entirety of Twitter, the company free and clear, right?
That's not enough. I need some cold hard cash.
Oh, you could probably pillage Twitter for a lot of money.
All right, fair enough. Can I sell it back to Elon Musk for $40 billion?
No. You probably couldn't get $40 billion now that Elon Musk has touched it. Now it's probably only 20.
No, it's not.
Okay,
it's worth half.
Do you know what? 20 billion? Okay.
All right, great. We've got the line.
My line is $20 billion.
The stone brain.
That's what happens to your brain after being in that coven 24 hours.
Agreed. It's a 2-mana legendary artifact. 2 tap and exile it. Choose a card name. Search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for up to 4 cards with that name and exile them. That player shuffles, then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way. Activate only as a sorcery. So the Stone Brain is Jester's Cap.
This card is brutal.
This card is brutal and cool. It exiles itself, so it's hard to recurse except for Karn, the great creator, who just gets to use it any number of times. The one thing that's really unusual is you can name the card planes with this. This doesn't say card other than a basic land.
Oh.
You can name any card whatsoever and find 4 copies of it.
Someone can go yoink.
Wow.
Yoink your lands.
That would be damaging to me in many ways with Boggles with this card.
Well, what it does is I keep looking at this now because I'm like, I can play this with Blood Moon.
Well, yeah, sure.
I can take your basics.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Nothing. I'm going to lose.
Yeah. So just be aware, somebody can name basic lands with this card.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Arcane Proxy is one of those prototype cards.
Love this.
7-mana artifact creature wizard. It's a 4/3. And I'm going to talk about the prototype as well. The prototype is blue 1 and makes it a 2/1. For both of these, you get the text, when Arcane Proxy enters the battlefield, if you cast it, exile target instant or sorcery card with mana value less than or equal to Arcane Proxy's power from your graveyard. Copy that card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost.
So good.
Yeah. So you get to like at the low level at the blue one for
Megan's
2 and 1.
having thoughts.
Yeah. You ever wanted to just like
Danger.
you ever wanted to like cast a 2/1 that just considers?
Yes.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time. And then it has the when you cast if you cast this from your hand to make sure that if you flicker this, you just get a 4/3. You don't get another free spell.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. The one thing to note is, and I saw this at the pre-release, so there's a bunch of old frame artifacts in the set, right? And you get to play those in limited if you open them up. There are copy effects, both. The one of note is, thanks, brain.
Are you having stone brain right now?
I'm having stone brain right now. Sculpting Steel. Sculpting Steel is the card I'm thinking of.
Okay.
As it enters the battlefield, copies an artifact. If you cast that, it meets the conditions for Arcane Proxy. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you cast that Sculpting Steel that's entering the battlefield that's copying Arcane Proxy.
Yeah.
And so if you copy Arcane Proxy this way, you will get this trigger.
Cool.
And you will copy either the prototype or non-prototype depending on which the original Arcane Proxy was.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the way that you get a second Arcane Proxy and a second trigger from Arcane Proxy.
Nice.
You can also like bounce this with Draftna, which seems quite quality to me.
Quite quality has been called.
Quality.
Yeah. Sarenth Great Worm. Green, red 4 for a creature worm. It's a 7/6. Trample. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, create a tapped Power Stone token.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah. Any land. Your opponent's lands, did they enter the battlefield? Well, then you get Power Stones for them.
Oh, nice.
Oh, hello.
This is what's important. I read the card. I was like, all right, I already had all 6 of my land. Why am I not going to make Power Stones? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to make Power Stones all the time.
You're going to have so many. You're going to have so much mana. What is the most expensive artifact in this set? Is it 9 mana?
I think that, there's a 9 mana Colossus.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything more than 9 mana, but you've already hit 6, 7, 8, 9. So I guess you could use 3 extra Power Stones.
Yeah.
To cast that bad boy.
There's also a bunch of X's. So like,
oh, sure.
there's a bunch of oddball, like bunch of mana and an X. Oh, there's 10s. Rust Goliath's a 10.
Oh, a 10. Okay.
And so is Woodcolor Automaton. I didn't plan on ever casting them for their face. I was like, these are prototype cards. I'm not gonna cast Rust Goliath for its cost. It costs 5 for 3/5.
Dream big, Rob. Dream big.
10 mana is a lot. Like,
it is.
I don't think that this looks faster than Rise of the Eldrazi, which is the only format where I've ever reliably cast 10s.
I mean,
not if you flood as often as I do.
Fair.
Meghan somehow floods more than everybody else. Wouldn't it be like just the funniest thing if everybody had stats like, oh, I flooded, and you could find the most flooded player of Magic the Gathering?
I would love to know the most flooded player of Magic the Gathering.
I've always kind of wanted this on like Magic Online or Arena. I would love quarterly stats of you've cast Llanowar Elves 109 times this quarter.
Oh yeah,
right?
Sure, yeah.
And like I'd be like, yeah, sounds about right. Just like just like if they gave you like your 5 most cast cards.
Oh man. This just made me think of this because I would love to know the stats on this. I've been playing the Greasefang deck in Explorer.
Get the
online.
rat in the ship.
It's so great. It's so great. The number of times that all you do is Greasefang goes on the stack and your opponent concedes.
Bye.
Yep.
Bye.
Because do you know what? The number is quite high.
Oh,
Yeah, it really is. I've had extended like fights over Greasefangs where I'm just like, finally the last time I'm like, all right, you got me. They're just like stack that Greasefang the third time, and I'm like,
okay.
I'm
all right.
Legit curious how the Power Stones factor into the ease of casting these cards at their higher mana values.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be excited.
We'll find out.
I'm really excited. So Prototype's a very, very good limited mechanic in that if you flood, it rewards you, but it doesn't punish you for not flooding.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to put a 10 mana card in my library, but I would play Rust Goliath in basically every green deck because it's a 3/5 reach trample for 5. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like maybe not every green deck. Maybe 90% of my green decks will want that, but like the mechanic itself is just going to be like similar to Kicker, which Kicker is always good, right? You play almost all your Kicker cards almost all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, set looks sweet. Excited to get out there and try it this weekend. Like we mentioned, you can check out the PPR from Loading Ready Run over on their Twitch channel, which happened last Friday. So that's twitch.tv/Loading Ready Run if you want to watch them play before you head out.
I think it went up on YouTube today, actually.
Yeah, and it's on YouTube too now.
Yep.
So you can check that out. Were you a judge?
Yep.
Rob was a chat judge for that event too. No big deal. We know we only use the best here on Good Luck High Five.
I didn't get invited to chat judge for a long time. The people who have been doing it for a long time are much better than me at that job. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, look, he's also humble.
Well, I'm not gonna claim I'm better than Min. Min is very, very good. Pharmacist judge, he's great.
Pharmacist judge, iconic.
Yeah. I was at a wedding with him last week.
Humble brag.
We're friends. What?
Okay.
We're friends in real life. What do you
Just keep going.
He's a random dude in the chat.
Sure.
He's just really nice. I
Who
like
you're
him.
friends with. We get it. You
We get
work
it,
the
Rob.
same place.
We get it. It's time to crown Cutest and Grossest Card from the Brothers War.
Okay, grossest card. Maybe influenced by the fact that I saw a silverfish in my apartment last night and
God.
screamed a lot about it. Is Gurgling Anointer. This card is disgusting.
I love the name.
It's got everything wrong about it. You know, it's got a lot of legs. It has weird body. It has weird bubble body.
The one thing that I think that it doesn't have, which I'm glad it doesn't, is an ovipositor.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, because if it had an ovipositor, I'd see that whole body as egg sacs.
No, let's not talk about it.
Okay.
That's
Could be
worse.
egg sacs, though.
Like, let's not talk about
it. Could be.
It could be
It
egg
could
sacs.
be. It could be. Look, it's just bad. Okay,
Yeah.
it's just bad. Look at this. What is its face? What are its spooky arms?
Yeah.
And what is this big
This is
gross
what you
body?
get for Phyrexian horrors. Welcome to the return of Phyrexia.
This is real bad stuff.
I love
Bad
it.
times.
It's really cute. I've got a lot of cute cards in this set, surprisingly enough. I thought there wasn't going to be a lot because we're having a war. But a Trench Stalker is a Maria-style cute card, which is just a stocky little trench guy with two big
I saw
red
this
eyes.
earlier and I was like, this is gonna be on Maria's list.
It's my style for sure.
Yeah.
Right along the lines of like the first ever few cutest cards when there was legit no cute
He's
cards
just like,
printed.
I
just
the
love
noise
them.
he's making.
Then there's some traditional cute cards like Fade from History, which has three little bear cubs having a cute,
Very cute.
bear cub time.
Very cute.
Too cute though. It's saccharine. It's saccharine. Teething Wormlet, very cute. However, I feel pandered to.
I could not. I am so mad because Teething Wormlet is so cute.
It's pretty cute.
Teething Wormlet is like Pixar cute.
It's Pixar cute,
Yeah.
yes. And that to me is over the line.
Wow.
I don't even know what the art direction on this had to be. Like, did they tell Jesper, like, because they tell him just like, I don't know, make a worm. It owns a bird, I guess. Like, this is like.
I hope that's what it was.
Draw me a worm that owns a bird.
I
Yes.
guess. That's what it is. And if you know me, you know I like robots. So Mine Worker is on the list for sure for being a cute little robot down in a mine. Has a drill arm handy. And also a cute little robot face. But I'm going to go with the cutest card for this set is none other than Power Plant Worker.
Wow.
Another cute little robot. I just think it has to be a robot in this set because we're in the Brothers War and it's an artifact set. And this is a very small. We had to confirm this was a small robot. It is because there is a foot for scale in this art.
It's right next to somebody's foot. It's a 4/4 that's as small as your ankle.
That's weird. I agree,
Spooky.
Rob. It's kind of strange.
Beware.
Beware of this tiny little. I don't even know what it does. It's got two glowing shoulder pads.
Actually, I wonder, is that a mech foot instead of a human foot?
Uh-oh.
It's hard to
Is
tell the
this
scale
a
in
big
this.
robot?
No, you see those humans in the back? They're also wearing these boots.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Those are the same boots.
Human size, so it's
Yeah.
as big as a foot. And if this was running around on the ground with its sloopy little legs and its tiny little, bulb shoulders.
Yeah, the scale's hard to tell. Like, how far away are those people in the back? Are those right next to it?
No way.
They're far away.
They're far away
Yeah.
because of this. So, in my opinion, you would think this was quite cute if you saw it. So Power Plant Worker, congratulations. You are cutest card in Brothers War. And I will not be pandered to Wizards of the Coast.
Yes, you will. You absolutely will. You'll call out their card specifically. You'll be like, look at how cute this card is.
I did choose a pandered card one time.
Yeah.
One time.
I was there.
Regret it to this day. Thank you so much, Rob.
You're welcome.
For hanging out with us, going through everything with us. Excited to play some cards this weekend.
Yeah.
This set's going to be great. I'm really excited about getting to revisit antiquities. Like I made a wish list when people were like, the Brothers War, and it's like, all right, it's got to have Tawnos and Hercule and Felden in it.
Hercule.
Yeah, and it's like I had a whole list of people. They were like, all right, we're just going to print everybody, all your old friends from 1993, and I'm like, cool.
Sick.
Great.
Yeah. Maria, it's just that they would have to have go through so much to explain how Hercule changed her name and like why she changed her name.
It would be too much.
What she changed her name to.
And they probably keep it on the card. They'd be like
Hercule.
they'd be like Jane Hercule in quotes.
Yes.
Yeah. She just goes with Jane. I'm sick of it.
Do you know what? I just want something nice
Jane
and basic.
Smith.
Yeah.
Time to say thank you to Ultra Pro for being an amazing sponsor of the show.
That's right. Ultra Pro has so many great ways to celebrate magic with magic accessories. We talked a little bit last week about how they have the secret lair if looks could kill playmats.
Love them.
Which are so good.
Ship it
if
to
you,
me.
like us, are in love with Reflector Mage / that cat specifically.
It's great.
On Reflector Mage, guess what? The best way to have the biggest picture of that cat possible is to get this playmat. It is really, really great. They also have some really cute new dice pouches.
Yes.
They have slivers and mirrors, and they're just so MYR mirrors.
Yeah,
mirrors.
mirror.
Are they mirror? I wonder if the plural of them is mirror. Like
Probably.
more mirror. Bunch of mirror.
You're not gonna be like, look at those mirrors, because everyone would be confused,
Yes.
especially if they're looking into mirrors.
Point is, you can get those as like their cute little dice bags.
Cute.
You can get them as their cute little like figurines.
Love it.
So if you're like, oh sweet, we're going back to Dominaria. We're going back to the original planes of magic. I want to celebrate some of these like cool original creatures from ye old days of magic. You can do that with Ultra Pro.
Yeah, you can go to ultrapro.com, use code GLHF at checkout for 5% off whatever you buy. We're coming up on Black Friday and everything, and a bunch of sales that are going to be happening. And I just want to let you know that if there's a sale on Ultra Pro, you can use the code GLHF. That will stack on top of what other sales they have.
It stacks.
It stacks. Nobody tell them, because I'm not sure they know, but I want you to know.
It stacks. We're telling you and not them, okay? It stacks.
So go get that deal before they figure it out. Well, everybody, that's this episode of Good Luck High Five. Mad props to you for listening. You are now a leg up above the competition for your Brothers War pre-release.
You're so ready. If people at the pre-release are like, I'm not sure that that's how it works.
You can be like,
Judge Rob told me.
You can actually them, and we give you permission.
And we give you permission.
Well, actually, I listened to the Judge Rob episode of Good Luck High Five.
Exactly. Well, actually, is only acceptable when followed by I listened to the Judge Rob episode of Good Luck High Five, and they said.
Actually, last pre-release that I went to, I used knowledge which I gained from listening to Judge Rob in our episode
there
at the pre-release. It happened in real life to me.
Yeah.
So we encourage you to go out there, have a great time at your local game store. Like we said, it comes out on Arena on the 15th. There's going to be an early access streamer event happening this Thursday on the 10th, if you want to check that out.
Yes. Thank you once again to Daniela, Nikki, and Matt.
Yes.
I hope you loved your episode.
Congrats.
And now that you are patrons, you can go into the Discord and claim which part of this, which Judge Rob fact is yours specifically.
And remember our sweet playmat deal. Get in early now with your membership to increase by 5 next month to get the sweet Boggle Cruise playmat.
Yes.
It's a beaut.
It's gorgeous,
beaut.
man.
Get out there and vote, everybody.
Get out there and vote.
Today is voting day here in the States.
Woo.
And we want to say that you should participate within the society that you live.
Yes. Guess what? It's your responsibility. Stinking vote, man.
As a human being.
Go vote.
Go vote. And you can say, well, actually, Maria and Meghan told me to go vote. So you can use that if you want.
That's the second instance in which you can say, well, actually. Well, actually, Maria and Meghan said, go vote. So
see you next week.